Our gentle movement classes and practices continue to be quite popular. So I appreciate those of you enjoying these kind of subtler, quieter, slower, but yet movement and active practices. So along those lines, we'll continue to explore today. I've got a couple of blocks and a blanket. They're mostly optional. So I'd say gather your favorite props. And then when you're ready, we'll start standing with the feet about hip width apart and arms long by our sides. I want to start out by bringing a little attention into our joints for just like a very gentle warm up. And what I'll have you do is bend one knee so that your hip kind of drops down and even shifts slightly forward. Straighten that leg and then try that on the other side. So it's a really simple movement. Essentially, the only thing you're doing is flexing and extending one knee and then the other. Okay. And with that, bringing a bit more awareness into your feet, your ankles, your knees, and your hips. So those are the joints that are really kind of dancing along here for the most part. Yeah. But then you might find that even your torso starts to respond a little. I notice there's just a natural way in which my torso turns a little from one side to the other. Right? You might even allow your arms to kind of dangle and swing with that a little. So as you're exploring from there, yes, absolutely allow there to be a little bit of freestyle and just your own way of starting to move your body. Yeah, let's try that just a couple more times to each side. Yeah. All right, come on back to center. Bending both knees a little, bring hands to the hips. I'll turn around for this one. I think it's a little easier for you to see. And essentially, we are creating a bit of a rocking in the pelvis. So you can see how my pelvis kind of scoops under myself and then tilts forward, creating a little back bend, a slight arch in the spine there. And it really helps to keep the knees just a little bit bent. It allows for a little more space there. And it's a great movement for releasing tension from the whole hip area as well as your lower back. And with that movement, you might even get a little insight on how your back is doing and what sensations you're discovering there. Yeah. We'll try that 3 more times, maybe adding in the breath, exhaling as the hips scoop forward. Inhale as you pull back. Nice and easy. Yeah. All right. Slowly straighten the legs, let that go. And then go ahead and take your hips into a circle. So we'll still really keep working with the lower body and the hips. Can either be a circle or it could even be more of a figure 8 if you want to get a little more creative here. Yeah, we'll try that just a few more times. Maybe switching directions at some point. Yeah, circles or figure 8s. All right, friends. Yeah, we'll come back to legs straight, feet parallel, toes pointing forward. Let palms flip to the front this time. The shoulders drawing back, the chest lifting. And then see if you can bend both knees and let your hands come towards the knees, rounding your spine forward. I'll turn around again just to help clarify. The palms turn forward, the chest opens. You could even lift your chin. And then round your spine and bend your knees, looking down. Now, what's curious here is the movement in the pelvis is essentially what we were doing earlier with that pelvic rock. And now we're allowing the whole spine to respond. So there's the rounding, even the head can drop, relaxing the neck. And then there's the arching, actually waking up our back muscles a little with that. So let's try 3 more and emphasize your breath a little more. Deep in-breath to open, long out-breath to fold. And yes, continuing to think of these initial movements as this way of really just greeting your body, checking in. Yeah. All right, come on back to neutral, arms by your sides. We'll continue right away, turning the shoulders from left to right and adding a little bit of twisting into the spine now. Yeah. Notice your breath here and see about inhaling as you turn to one side and exhale as you turn to the other side. Yeah, keep on going. Few more rounds. Really at this point, picking up the pace a little. So we're really starting to warm up and even slightly invigorating the body. Couple more to each side. Great, and then let that all wind down. So allow the movement to slow down, get a little smaller until you make your way to center. Yeah, take a breath in. Take a breath out. We'll do one more movement on the more active side, so letting arms come forward and up, making the body long and tall here. And bending the knees again and swing the arms behind you. Inhale, come on up right away. Bend your knees, drop your arms down and back. And so it's a simple movement and yet lots of options here. You might decide between a really light squat or perhaps bending the knees a bit further. I do suggest making sure that the feet stay flat on the ground so there's a sense of stability here for you. And notice your pace, just to kind of see, am I working with what feels right here? Am I rushing too much? Is there any adjustment that you'd like to make? And emphasizing the breath even more. Let's try just 3 more rounds. Yeah, and with the third one, as you bow forward, stay down and straighten the knees just a little more. You don't have to bring them straight all the way, but coming into that forward fold. Especially if your back feels tender, keeping the knees bent really does make it a lot easier for your back. Yeah. And then I invite you to explore some really small movements here on your own. Maybe the hips are swaying a little bit here from side to side, or you're bending one knee a little deeper and then the other. And of course, this is where blocks could come in for a little extra support. Yeah, you could sway your torso from left to right. Maybe explore through your neck a little, just a little nodding movement in your head. Even notice your jaw maybe opening and closing the mouth a couple of times. Yeah. And let's take another breath in. Another breath out. And then bend your knees. Slowly roll your way up to stand. Take your time. Sweep the arms out and all the way up. And let the arms go. And see if there's a way to place hands onto your body, whether it's your chest and your belly, or your hands are both with either of these places, or perhaps a different area. And see if you can take a brief moment to notice your body right now, right here. Yeah, it's kind of like you're not even looking for anything specific. There's no agenda here. You're really just checking in to see what's here right now. It might be the temperature in your body, the quality in your breath, right? Whether you feel a little more relaxed or a little more alert. Yeah, and take another breath in. Let that go. And we'll start out at the front of the mat, stepping the feet again hip width or even a little bit wider. We're going to bend both knees, stepping right foot back into that kind of warrior one position, if you're familiar with that posture. But one thing that's super helpful is orienting the right foot towards the edge of the mat, so there's quite a bit of width between your feet, which is going to help you feel more stable here. Okay? And bending the front knee, and just for now, just want you to kind of test this all out and take your time to adjust the size of the steps as the front leg is bending. The back heel gets to stay nice and flat on the ground. Okay, I want to add a little bit of movement to see if the arms can reach forward and up, allowing the left leg to straighten at this point. And then reaching arms slightly back and down as the knee bends. Okay, reach forward and up. And reach back and down. So here we are, really coordinating the movement in the lower body with the movement in the upper body. And we'll try that 3 more times. We're going to add breath now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, left leg straightens. Exhale, left leg bends. 1 more time, breathe in. And this time, breathe out. We're going to stay. See about interlacing the fingers behind your back so that shoulders pull back and also squeeze down. The amount of bend in the front knee is really up to you. So maybe just to check in to see, do I want to bend it a little bit more, a little less? Yeah, if reaching for the hands is not quite as available, no problem at all. Flip your palms forward so that, again, the focus is on shoulders pulling back. Now, start to notice your breath. And we'll pause for just 3 more breaths, really starting to build that strength and stability in the body. Yeah, 1 more inhale. And exhale. And very simple transition. We're going to step the feet together, shaking out the legs, rolling the hips around. So any small movements that just feel natural in your body here, go with that. And we're going to come into the second side right away. So starting out, feet hip width or wider. Step your left foot back, keeping the toes close to the edge of the mat. Feet flat on the ground, really almost like grabbing the mat a little more with your feet for more stability. And then for now, just kind of testing out the bend in the leg while still grounding that heel down. And then we're going to add a little movement, so reaching the arms forward and up. And slightly back and down as the knee bends. Okay, so the leg straightens as the arms come forward and up. And the leg bends as the arms open down. Yeah. So take your time to, find a little flow here, a little momentum, and then adding the breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back and down. Breathe in. And breathe out. One last time, inhale. And exhale to stay, either interlacing the hands behind the back or continuing to roll the shoulders back with your hands apart. Checking in now that we're going to linger here for a little while, really to see what's sustainable, right? Maybe I'm keeping my leg a little straighter so I can really be with it. Yeah. Start to notice your breath a little more. And start to notice sensations in your body a little more, like really drawing lots and lots of attention to what's happening right now. Yeah, that's it. We'll take another breath in. And another breath out. Stepping the back foot forward, shaking out the legs, finding a little movement here as needed. And then we'll inhale the arms back out and up, deep in breath. Folding upper body over lower body once again. The feet are hip width apart, toes pointing forward. And you're welcome to bring blocks under your hands. And here too, still keeping the knees slightly bent so we're not locking the joints and supporting ourselves a little bit more. And this time I invite you to come into stillness. So that means, of course, initially you might explore a little bit and see how to set yourself up here. But then see if you can find a variation, find a depth in this pose that you can settle into. Maybe becoming a little more aware of the pull of gravity here, the way the torso just gets a little heavier with each breath. Notice parts in the body engaged, really supporting you here, your feet, your legs. But see if you can also get a sense for where your body actually gets to be quite effortless right now, very easy. Yeah. We'll take just 3 more breaths here. Maybe a sigh, maybe a yawn. And then as you feel ready, we're going to head down onto the mat. So stepping the feet and knees back, coming to tabletop position. Continue your journey all the way down. So we are on our bellies with our hands underneath our forehead, the legs along behind us. Yeah, and as you settle into that space, take a few slow breaths here. Really allowing for a short pause. And to notice your body now. From here, bring your attention into the right leg. And the movement is pretty simple. Essentially, we're lifting the right leg off the ground and we're lowering back down. And the knee remains straight. In fact, you might really think about a very long right leg pulling back through the toes a little bit. Okay. Yeah. And for now, this repetition is a way of just kind of testing it out, exploring a little, whether to lift a little or a lot. And then eventually lift your leg up. We're still on the right side. And take just a few slow breaths, just enough time to take a closer look at what's really happening in your body right now. Yeah, inhale one more time. As you let go, take just that really brief moment of feel the right leg letting go. Muscles completely relaxed again. And then making your way to the left side and begin to lift and lower any amount. Yeah. If you can, keep your left hip on the ground, even if that means the movement is tiny. Right? Or sometimes it can even feel like the leg doesn't lift up much at all, but what you are feeling is this kind of dance between muscles engaging and muscles releasing. And that's really what we're looking for. Yeah, and then eventually lift a little and take a few breaths. Yeah, really being there with it. Great. Inhale one more time. Exhale, slowly let that go. Again, really feeling the sensations of those muscles releasing. And then from here, bring a little rocking motion into the hips. So this way of just shaking, wiggling the hips from left to right. Even allowing other parts in the body to respond. Movement in the legs. Movement through your spine into the neck. Yeah. And go ahead and let that simmer down again, making your way to stillness. Notice your body here. Yeah. Notice your next breath coming in and going out. Yeah, we're going to make our way onto our backs. So see if you can simply flip around from where you are. And bending the knees so that the feet are flat on the ground. And feet are about hip width apart. And so initially, take a couple of breaths, really something about almost honoring those transitions so we don't feel like we're rushing through it, but really taking that brief moment to notice that different orientation, facing upward now. Yeah, take another breath in. And another breath out. All right. We're going to stay on our back and, blanket under the neck and head. If you'd like to bring that in, you're welcome to. I'm going to have you lift the feet off the mat and placing the hands directly on top of your kneecaps. So fingers pointing towards the ankles. And start with your elbows straight. So there's not a full stretch here happening yet. And we'll wait for the next in-breath. And as you exhale, bend your knees and slowly bring the knees towards you. Okay, so breathing in as the elbows straighten. And breathing out as the knees bend. And this is a subtle movement, right? There's really not a whole lot happening here. And To me, part of these gentle movement practices is really valuing and appreciating the subtlety and slowness of practices. Right? So try this maybe another 3 rounds, noticing the breath a little more, maybe making breath even more intentional. Yeah, one more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then hold the knees in, maybe pausing for a moment to notice your back. And then go ahead and roll to your left side so that you're stacking one leg on top of the other. Even looking at the knees, making sure they're parallel. And then open your right arm all the way out to the right side so that your chest kind of spins open to the ceiling. We're taking our spine into a rotation here. And as you take a few more moments to explore, how your body wants to be with this today, don't be shy to incorporate props. So maybe there is a blanket between the knees and thighs to support your back, or a yoga block under your right arm. Yeah. Keep fine-tuning. Sometimes these tiny little shifts and changes, maybe your head needs to turn into a slightly different direction. So I invite you to really personalize this as much as you can, tuning into your own body to see what feels right without forcing anything along, but also without being shy of a little sensation, right? Of feeling a little something here. Yeah, this is also the time in practice where we begin to slow down a little more. Lingering in postures that are no longer about strength or stability, but are really inviting more of that sense of letting go and surrender. Yeah, by sensing into that pull of gravity again, you might explore if there are certain muscles that are gripping and that are still active, and then to see what is it like to let go and surrender to that force of gravity just a little more. Yeah, notice sensations in your body now. Yeah, take another breath in. Another breath out. Good. And lifting the arm, why don't you go ahead and roll over onto the left side and take just a few breaths here. So again, just taking a moment to honor that transition. Yeah, to pause and to notice yourself here now. Good, yeah. And then we'll make our way to the other side. So roll onto your back, maybe shifting the hips over to the left,
Roll all the way to the right side, stacking the knees on top of each other. Okay. And then when you're ready, open your left arm back out to the left side. And then checking in with any support. And it's really precious when we start to shift our decision making from away from what are we supposed to do, right? Or what do we think we're expected to do? And we're really coming into what does my body actually need or want right now? Right? It's so different. So take your time, sometimes even to try a couple different things and compare and see what resonates with you. Yeah. And start to follow your breathing a little more. Just to kind of see if I connect with my breath right now, where does that take me in my body? What are the areas in the body that light up with your breathing right now? Yeah, and then again, we're here with this, this exploration around not doing. And so I invite you to just kind of check in on that a little here. See, is there parts of my body that are active? Right? It might even just be your facial muscles gripping a little. Right? And if you notice that, do notice it. It's like, wow, my face still keeps tensing or tightening. It might even give you a little insight on what's underneath of that, maybe a feeling or an attitude, a way of being. And then explore being here with just a little bit less doing, a little less effort. Yeah. And notice your next breath coming in. Going out. Good. And then bending from the left elbow, roll back to your right side. Yeah. I want to propose this to you as just a short pose for rest and integration. However, if you're not comfortable here, feel free to roll onto your back or maybe adding a blanket between the knees for support. Yeah. Maybe letting eyes close. Yeah, I can really, everything you hear me say, most of it I'd say, are really suggestions, and there's always room for exploration, always reminding yourself that you get to make your own choices, you have agency, and it'd be perfectly fine to keep your eyes open, right? And just look around your space. But taking this brief moment here to let your body settle into stillness a little more. within that, start by noticing stillness as an absence of movement right now, right? Just really acknowledging the body is still now. And then take your awareness a little deeper inside of yourself to see how are you being with stillness right now? How are you responding to stillness? Is your breath easy? Or do you notice a little restriction here? Does stillness feel pleasant and enjoyable? Or perhaps you notice a little restlessness or resistance. And so whatever is happening within right now, anything you're becoming aware of, to really remind yourself that all is welcome. Every single part that's revealing itself right now, whether it's pleasant or a little uncomfortable, gets to be here. And I invite you to notice what it feels like to really give yourself that permission. Notice your next breath coming in and going out. And slowly make your way up to sit, pressing into the hands. And thank you so much for joining today.